Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna do a joke. So what I'm gonna see is Johnny. The tea down video. You're just going to do on that. It's going to stop. I don't know that. Hear me. The thing over there. Do go on. Go to your guest. Yet the sort as the tank of Rockwood. Don't know. Yet in the start of Gonzagi. See on Jagi. Don't know. Go Guskat. Like an ungue. The thing over there. Do a grades in the Ganyat or the Gero. Don't know. A Grego. Quads a day or no Cosopa. Det tinne vad då jätte sorta gon han är nada headstone är gonna go here där I hawa koi. Jag igen har dam dawe on headstone does it stasser den ganongor. Dam dawe on headstone asset liga darge ne ganyanga haga. Radinato ronata roni dan riskreewge. Dan dam dawe on headstone agwego on a goal and the honor us go on skana. Okay, so as always, like as you know, that whenever we get together for council meeting, ceremony, anything of importance, we always have to carry out a Honda Gadi Wadekwa first. This is where we give thanks to the things in creation that have created us and give thanks to and identify the things that we need to continue to sustain us. And so we always begin by giving our thanks to the great spiral of creation, the Sky Woman herself. When you look up into the nighttime sky, you're not looking into cold, dark, empty, lifeless space. You're looking into the vibrant, living body of our great mother, of Sky Woman herself. And so we give thanks to her, to Sky Woman, as it is she who has given us spirit. From there, we give our thanks to the beating heart of our Mother Earth, to our grandmother Moon. It's she who regulates the flow of the lifeblood in all things. Not just as you know, the great bodies of water, she moves them back and forth, but also if she can move those bodies of water, then she's moving the water within a blade of grass, within your eyelash. And so we give thanks to her, to our grandmother Moon, as it is she who has given us blood. From there, we give our thanks to our Mother Earth, regardless of what color you are, what language you speak, where you have grown out of our Mother Earth, or what you imagine divides us. We all come from the same mother, making us all one family, sisters, brothers, all related. And so we give thanks to her, our Mother Earth, as it is she who has given us body. From there, we give our thanks to all the women, from the newest born baby girl to the eldest grandmother, as they carry the sacred title of life giver into the world and are to be honored and respected as such. We give thanks to them for in this world, the life givers in all strains of life, not just humans, but puppy dogs, butterflies, all strains of life. We give thanks to them because in this world, they give us purpose and direction. This is to identify that if you are a puppy dog or a butterfly, you are shown how to be by your mother. It is your mother that teaches you your identity. And so we acknowledge this, that our sacred bloodlines are passed down in this way. From there, we give our thanks to all the waters in all the shapes and forms they come in, all the medicines in all the shapes and forms they come in. To our ancestors who carried a good mind, we ask them to help us, to show us how to return our mothers back to their natural seat of authority so they can manage all our people properly once again. From there, we asked our ancestors to help us to return the true spirit of every Onagora within the great law of peace, to return this back to the hearts and minds of the people. The opening that I done, as you all know, it's always this way. This is the way I do the opening. It's a general application thing. Of course, once you identify the general things, then you can break it down, articulate it further. But when we look at this process, it's like a two-way street from Sky Woman, the entire waterverse, to the beating heart, and then to our Mother Earth, and then here. So what's meant by a two-way street is that in order for us here, the people, to exist here on our Mother Earth, what has to exist first is the entire waterverse, is all of what the non-native knows as the universe. That has to exist first in order for our solar cell to exist, in order for our Mother Earth to exist, in order for you to exist. But what makes it a two-way street is that the waterverse, Sky Woman, could not exist without the tiny things first. Just like you within your body, you know, you're made up of trillions of cells, and you know that the collective of you would not exist without all those cells being in place. And so this is the beauty, the wonderment, the magic of the mechanics of creation, of the body, the living body of creation that actually procreates, sustains, recycles, keeps the living thing going. And the reason why I'm identifying this today is because yesterday had a very very important conversation. Yesterday, Gerdu, when you were here, we had really good conversation. And like what, maybe 2-3 hours? Right after you left, maybe 20 minutes, maybe not even that. My father's friend, John Daibo, Johnny Zix, well, he showed up. And he came in and he stayed here for a little over 3 hours also. And we had hell of a conversations about everything, about things of a long time ago, all that kind of stuff. And we got into some stuff about language. Anyways, we asked him if he could come here. I really didn't think that he would be able to come on a Saturday night, from 7 to 9. But we're going to try to arrange for him through his granddaughter to see if in coming weeks that she could arrange for him to be on Zoom, because he doesn't know how to do any of that stuff, Anyways, so possibly, if not by next week, within the next 2-3 weeks, hopefully, if everything works out good, if his granddaughter can facilitate this, then John will be joining us in the Kanienkeha classes. But something that came up with him yesterday about which is for me directly connected to the order of what we identified from Sky Woman and everything, down to here. Anyways, started asking him some Kanienkeha words yesterday, and make a long story short, we got into directions, north, south, east, west, that kind of stuff, left, right, all this kind of stuff. So Gerdu, you tell me if you recognize these words. Now, I might not say it correctly. We wrote it down, and I'll read it the best that I can. Enegenagua.
Enegenagua, that's the west.
Enegenagua. Okay, Nagunagua. Nagunagua.
East.
Okay. And Yoderege?
Oterege.
Yoterege?
Yeah, the north.
And Haji.
Haji, yeah. So,
okay. Now that you confirm those words, can you expand Ajay? Does it just mean salt, or does it mean something else? Is it like for us, we know in English?
Ajay is noon. Noon, Ajay.
Okay.
That's why we refer to it as Ajay Nagwadi, yeah. Yeah, that's what the word they use. But the other two words there, Nagunagwadi and Anagunagwadi. Well, that's what the Rakwat Ketskwas is the east, where the sun rises. And Jiatawadarakwa Santos is where the sun kneels.
Okay, so there's something different or something more explained in the word enegena, eneggenagua.
It means on the top of.
Okay, now you see, this is what John said. Eneggenagua. On the top of, he said, he also identified it as up.
Yeah.
Now, he also said, now I don't know if you, whatever you think about this, he also said he was talking about left and right. And he says, when talking about the east, where the sun rises, when he says Enegenagwa, he says that means down.
No.
And the west, oh no, wait, Enegenagwa means up. That means west. The east, which one am I looking at now here? Nagu Negwa. That's the east. I got it wrong. Nagu Negwa. He says that's the east, but it's down. And Negenagwa is up, but that's west.
But that's why the traditionalists, then they say to the is the west where the sun rises, and the east. But then where it sets, where it sets, where it kneels. Like they seen it as kneeling when they went down over the.
Okay, I can't. Of course, I can't represent what he was saying, but when we look at Enegenagwa, now you associate up with that also, right?
Yeah, Enegenagwa. Yeah, it's up.
Okay, and Nagu Negwa.
The bottom.
Down. Okay, now he says that Nagu Negwa is east, where the sun rises. Down. And the west, Enegenagwa, up.
Yeah. But that was basically used by Christians.
Well, let's think about this. Stand on the river. And when you're standing on the river, which way is the east? It's downriver.
Yeah, right.
And the west, from where we're at, to go west, you got to go upriver. Yeah. And even if we can't really detect that, like so let's say we get around 1,000 islands, in some areas you could tell, or even near Zasne, right at Zasne, around the island, you can tell there's fast water there. You can tell it's a little bit rapidy. So you know that there's a drop there. So you know there's a drop near Akwesasne, there's a drop near Valleyfield, and then if we go further west, we get near Thousand Islands, we see a lot of drops like that. We see a lot of areas in the river where all of a sudden it gets really rough, like rapidy, which identifies that it's flowing down. And then when we get closer, like let's say get on the other end of Lake Ontario, obviously we see what Niagara Falls, that the further west you go, that you got to go up higher and higher. So there's something here that we haven't really detected or addressed, or just haven't looked into enough about these directions to say Enegenagwa. That's where the sun sets, and it's upriver. So in these references of Enegenagwa or Nagu Negwa, these references of up and down, people today may have forgotten what this means, like even disassociate, even take out the up and down out of it, and just keep in knowing that it's referencing where the sun rises, where the sun sets. They may have forgotten that how we tell direction for the most part is how the people traveled, and
that's where the terminology too is used, Upper and Lower Canada. That's where they're referencing from that, Upper Canada, Lower. Where are you from? Enegenagwadi. So you're from Ontario.
But then you think of, where did they get that? We can think that right off the top of our head, that every reference that the non-native has in here in Turtle Island is just quite simply their reference. But we know that they did not travel across the country anytime ever without guides, without our people to guide them. And so our people guiding them, telling them, oh, we got to go up. This is up here. This is down, this is upper, this is lower. When somebody physically is at Niagara Falls, you can see the upper and lower. But other than that, like it's a slow, gradual thing along the river. Like if you're looking from, let's say, Thousand Islands to Quebec City, let's just think of how many drops are there from Quebec City. We know there's a drop at Three Rivers. Just before Quebec City, there's a drop, and then there's a drop at Three Rivers. The lake is a drop right there. That's what stopped the lake, Lac Saint, whatever the heck it's called, is what prevents the tide from getting any closer, because it all fills into like that lake being a bowl. I think it's Lac Saint Pierre. And then, while there's a drop, we all know, at Montreal, on the east end of Montreal, there's a drop in between Montreal and here. And then there's a drop right here. And like I said, then we go Valleyfield, there's another drop. Anyways, just to look at how many drops there are, if we were to take the distance from Quebec City and say Thousand Islands and take it away and put them right up to each other, well, we know there would be a difference of a couple of 100 feet, at least a couple of 100 feet distance in elevation from Quebec City to Thousand Islands. So if not more than that, I don't know. I never looked into elevations and that. But when you're living on the water, when you're living on the land and you're traveling by the water, by the rivers all the time, then you can tell, which way is up, which way is down. First off, everybody knows which way is upriver, which way is downriver. But when you're traveling the rivers and you have to portage, like you have to get off your canoe and walk around a rapid or something, well, then you can tell a lot better in the differences in heights, elevations. Now, I know that our people knew precisely all the elevations, the differences in heights all along the river. They were not stupid people to just say, hey, you're at river level, and to think it's at the same level in Quebec City as it is in Cornwall. No way. It's not, and it's not at the same level as it is in Kingston. No way. Our people knew that. So our people's references is what led the non-native to that reference of upper and lower. So this reference yesterday that I learned from John about up being, he gave reference to it as the left is down and the right is up. And I said to him, I says, that coincides with the first time that we done a law recital, 1987 at Aunt Jock's, in the first day of where it's covered about that the Kanienkeha are on the left of the Ayawanta Wampum Belt. And when you're looking at the earth today, and the way all our people look at it, with the north being up, the Mohawks, if they're on the left, we would be where the sun sets. The Senecas would be where the sun rises. But everybody knows there's a combination of things of how to get our bearings here. The Kanienkeha are always on the left. The left is where the sun rises. The right is where the sun sets. And John identifies where the sun rises as down. Nagunagwa and Egenagwa identifies the right as up, where the sun sets. So when he told me this, he just went like this. He says down and up. He couldn't explain it. until I showed them on the globe that we have of the earth as to why our people are mixed up today. And this is because our people are now viewing the earth upside down, the same way as the white man. We view the north as up, when that is not up, that is down on our mother earth. This is the direction that we came from, that the Ganawida came from. The Ganawida came from the north, and everything in the Guyana Rasidas Kanagoa, everything is a duplicate of the path, the journey that he took. He came from the north, which is the reason why the well sits with their back to the north. He was a wolf clan. That's why the well is the wolf clan. He goes south to first a bear clan mother. And then he travels east to where the Kanienkeha are. And he runs into who? Ayawanta, the turtle. So we see the direction in his very actions of the way that he walked from north to south and then to east. And so these things correlate with what John had identified about down. And he just says where the sun rises, he said it's down. And where the sun sets, it's up. So that correlates with the knowledge of that the Kanienkeha are always on the left of the Ayawata Wampum Belt. So today, we're just going to go over a few things about the direction. We'll use these words. First, we'll start from the south, Ajay. Now, this is what he identified as the south. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so, okay, Edith, are you, okay. All right, is there anything else associated with that, Ajay, other than just to say south?
Yeah, well, that we called it noon. If we're gonna meet at lunchtime at the Longhouse or anywhere, we would say Ajay the Dwadatko. We'll see each other at noon. It's high noon, the middle of the day.
Okay, why would that be associated with the south, though?
I don't know. I don't know that.
Ajay. There's no other references in there, like to say high noon, the hottest part of the day, just to be associated with heat, and then we say the south where the heat comes from.
When you use the word Ajay, I see Ajay means like it's almost like it's the half. It's like the glass half empty or half full. So that's at high noon.
Okay, but
we know in west, so it's filling up. It's half full, filling up.
Yeah, but from a direction perspective, to say that Ajay, to associate it to the south. See, what I'm looking for here is what could associate that with the south? Just because we know it today to be the south. Ajay, when you say it means high noon, the only thing that I can see that associates that we would associate to the south is that in high noon, it's the hottest part of the day. And the south, we associate it with being hot. Can we see anything else other than this connection to associate it with the south?
Not really.
Okay, so as far as you know, then, us just looking at this, can we say that Ajay is associated with the south because of the heat?
Yeah, that would be it, yeah.
Okay, so on the English part, south, just put in brackets heat. And then what do we got? South, east, Nagunagwa. Nagunagwa, or however you spell it, however you identify it. And then north. And what is your there again? Your there again? And for the north, that's what John said. He said it's associated with the cold part of the world. You agree with that?
Yeah. Otorege. See, today is cold. Today is very cold. So you will say otore. So otorege, see, it's in there. Otorege, where the cold comes from. North.
Lagoon is the east. Eat it.
The east.
The north is
Otorege.
Yoterege. And then the west is Anegane. Anegane. Anegana.
Enegone guadi.
Enegoa. Enegoa. Okay, so do we got all four of them?
Yeah.
Okay, the east and west is identified by the direction of the river. Of the big river. Oh yeah, the east and west are identified. Not an is. Now, there's something for us to consider in this of just how much our people knew and understood about directions and what was happening on our Mother Earth. When you look at the I don't know if you can see this. Oh. Okay, I'll wait until it stop writing so we can see it. Okay, now, before we go any further on that, just to get our minds wrapped around something here is, wait, let me pin this so I can see. Okay, can you see that? Shine a light on it here. Okay, if you're looking at things this way, then we can see here that if you're looking at the so-called St. Lawrence, that it goes up. It goes up. It doesn't go directly east and west. Now, if you're of our people and you know the proper way in which to look at the earth, then what we identify as the main artery here, the so-called St. Lawrence, that this is flowing down and it is flowing to the left, the same way that in your body, that the main artery comes out of your left arm and goes down right away. So it's just to identify that our people were cognizant of more than just the simple direction to just say east and west, because what does east and west mean? Take away the sun. What does east and west mean? Okay, well, without the sun, it means the direction that the earth rotates. Because the earth, in order for the sun to rise in the east, of course, the earth has to turn that way. So the direction that our people gave reference to was not about just quite simply knowing how to navigate on the body of our Mother Earth. It was about knowing direction, up, down, left, and right, not only on this body of our Mother Earth, but throughout the waterverse. It gives you direction of everything. Okay, so can we go back to the what you got written there? Okay.
Enego neguadi, danu nagu neguadi, ye yo gerado. Okay, well, that's the only one we have. The bottom two will break down. Ye yo. Je. Ye yo gerado. Okay. And then ganyada. Ganyadarowana. Enego neguadi, danu nagu neguadi, ye yo gerado, ganyadarowana.
Enego negadi dano nagu negwadi ye yogerado ganyada rowana.
Eniga niguadi dano nagu niguadi yeyo gerado ganyata rowana.
Edith.
Enega newadi, dano nago newadi, yeyogerado, ganyada rowana.
France.
Enega neguadi dano nagu neguadi yeyo gerado ganyada roano.
Marc.
Enegan neguati, danu nagon neguati, yeyo cheradu, ganyata rowana.
Lisa.
Neguati dano nagon neguati iam o de ro don ganyata rowana.
Enegan neguadi, dano dagun neguadi, yeyo dierado, ganyat darowana. Nuni. The order for today is Longhouse, then Marie-Claude, Edith, France, Marc, Lisa, and me.
Okay, the big river is as the main artery coming from the heart, coming out of the heart into the body. Aji. 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 Middle of the day. Aji. Also, if you're thinking of high noon, if we're looking at the sun at high noon from where we're at, that's directly south because it's not ever directly above us. It is always slightly to the south from us, even at its highest peak in the summertime. So it could be an association through that also, you know, that recognition of it's that way.
Okay, Ganyada Rowana. Ganyada Rowana. And then Gajinu, Gaji. Nu Ya. Gajinu Ya Dowana. And then Skaya. Skayagos. Wadenegwan. At the H. Wadenegwan saw where. Wadenegwan saw where. And then Yaneros. That's good. Unguayerun. Unguaye. Unguayerun dago. Kanyadarawana. Gajinu Yaktowana. Skayagos. Wadenegwan sawer Yaneros. Unguayerun dago.
Kanyada Rowana, Kazinuhya Dowana, Gayangas, Wadegwa, Sawerianus,
Wadenegwan.
Wadenegwa, Wadene.
You could split it there. Wadene.
Yeah, let's split it there, read it Wadene, between the E and the K. Wadenegwa.
Sawer Yaneros.
So we're yoners. Unguayarundago.
Ganyata Rowana, Gazinuya Rowana, Skayagans, Wadenegwan Sawerianerus, Unguayerundago.
Ganyada Rowana, Gatsinunya Dowana, Skayagons, Wadenegwan Sawerianerons, Unguayerundago.
Gayada Raun Rowana. Gatsi Noya Dowana. Gens Wadene Gwen Sayer Yaneros. Unguaye Rundago.
Good.
Kanyada Rowana, Gatsi Nuhya Towana, Kaya Gans Watene Kwa Sour Yaderus, Unguaye Rundago.
Good.
Kanyada Rowana, Gachi Nohaya Dowana, Tagayaga, Wadane Guaha, Several Yonron, Ongwa ye ron dagon. Ongoye run dagon.
Ganyada Rowana, Gatsinuya Doana, Skayagans, Wadenegwan Sawerianeros, Ongwaye Rundago. Teotwet Nuni.
Okay. Whew. Okay, into the body. The Kanienkeha have always lived upon this river as it is our breadbasket. There's a narrative here in the white man's history that wants to make things appear to be a certain way, but isn't. They want you to believe, they want us to believe that the Kanienkeha were restricted to the so-called Mohawk Valley. This is a lie. Because when you look at, say, the Dutch and their early history, yes, they run into the Kanienkeha, but also the French run into the Kanienkeha. And where did they run into us at? Well, they run into us right here at so-called Montreal. Kahnawake was originally up past, like near, it started around near Sorel. We were right next door, connected, touching. They were our neighbors, the Abenaki. Kahnawake, the Kanienkeha of Kahnawake were always here. The people have been locked into this false narrative that the Kanienkeha solely come from the so-called Mohawk Valley. Yes, we were in the Mohawk Valley. It's just like saying, yes, today we're in Ganasadagi, but also we're in Kahnawake. Oh, wait a minute, also we're in Akwesasne, and we're also in Tanadanega, and we're also in Grand River, and we're also in other places. So for anyone to try to isolate us solely to the Mohawk Valley based on one white perspective, of course, is a corruption. And for our people to adopt that today, to adopt it like as if it's written in stone that, yes, we were never here, that this leads to the narrative of that only after 17, what was it, the Royal Proclamation, 17 whatever, 63 or whatever, that only after that, like we came here to this place, to Kahnawake. Everybody knows that's not true. That's not true.
They're almost basically saying you got a zip code now. It's just where you live, just there, no place else. Yeah. And if you can accept that, then you're going to accept everything they tell you after that. No, yeah. We're North American Indians. We're natives. We're not confined to one place. We were allowed on the whole island, on the whole turtle.
There's a lot of misinformation like this that is put out without actually saying this is the way that it is. It's subliminal stuff that is there in, again, like I said, the white man's history. They say we're in the Mohawk Valley. And so today our people are saying, oh, Mohawk Valley, like as if, imagine how, well, anybody knows how small Mohawk Valley is. That's a very small place, very small region. like as if all the Kanienkeha lived just in that small region? No way. That only a stupid person would believe this. When you look at the comparisons of today, like what? Are we living where we are today just all of a sudden as a result of the white man? Or are these things historical? Are these things the way that we've been living and the places we've been living in forever? Now, keep in mind that just like the white man, how many white people live in upstate New York and travel to Florida in the wintertime? How many white men here in so-called Quebec stay here all summer, but then travel to Florida in the wintertime? How do you think they got the idea to do these things? Is it just something that developed all of a sudden, like over to say like the last 50 years or something, 60, 70 years since World War II, and all of a sudden people can go on vacations and stuff like that. So all of a sudden it's a thing that people do. This is a conduct that people have been doing for thousands of years. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that people who are migratory, who are not just limited to one place, who have a freedom of movement, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that winter times, freezing cold, some of the people, a lot of the people would move to the south. This is not a new occurring thing. And this means then, as we, the Kanienkeha, move to the south, let's say the white man came here in the wintertime and they came through Kahnawake and they seen, oh, nobody's here, but there's a bunch of houses here. But nobody's here, so we might as well just take it over. This is, of course, the corruptions of the non-native world, because they don't know how to live in this world. They don't know the ways of respect or how to respect another person's right to their freedom of movement, their right to not be violated in any way. This is the reason why for us that we wouldn't have to have our houses locked. The only thing to identify that we're not home is a stick on the door. We never had to worry about what we got to worry about since the white man got here, about people stealing from you, about having people break into your home and rob from you. Our people never had to worry about this. This is stuff that only came with the white man. And so a lot of stuff today, in the wording that's being used is not going to be known by the people today. This was the discussion that I had with John last night or yesterday, while you're here, that his granddaughter, he says that she's a very good Mohawk speaker. He says that she even teaches it now. She used to come here when she was a kid, to the Longhouse. But we also talked about how there's a lot of words that the young ones got no clue. They're just repeating it. Say like this, the word for Nagunagwa and Negenagwa. Just those two words. The people of today only look at it as east and west. And they don't even look at it as where the sun rises or where the sun sets, just quite simply by the E and the W. So let's take our meanings from before of the east being down, the west being up, and the east being left, and the west being right. Now today, we only know and understand E and W. Think of all the knowledge that is gone from that. Now, when you think of, or when you know that where the sun rises is down, then that implies a whole lot of things, and that it's your left, that it's to the left. It implies a whole lot of things that right off the top of our head, we can only think of a few things, what it would affect and change the meanings of, or change the understandings of. So just imagine all the things that we can't think of right now, that we'd have to go into a deeper discussion to say, oh yeah, this, or yeah, that, we have to look at other words of reference, the way that people know it today. Anyways, just to identify that this clearly shows us how the language is changing. There's people today who don't realize that they're changing the language into meaning less than what it actually means. We're actually dumbing our language. We're dumbing it. We're bringing it down to like an English level. So it's a language is a reference of understandings. So our reference of understandings is being brought down to the level of the English. Now imagine that. Now knowing that these are the people that have gone around the world colonizing, spreading disease, mayhem, destruction, thieving, raping, and murdering. And imagine we're going to bring our knowledge level down to their level. This is the Englishizing of our language. So it's the things that we have to, little points like this that we have to address to put the proper meanings out there in the minds of the people so that they'll remember that Nagunagwa isn't just east. It doesn't just mean that. What does east mean? It's over there or something. It doesn't just mean a direction on a compass. It means downriver. And when you're looking at the earth, like we said, the downriver of the so-called St. Lawrence, then it really gives you a perspective as to knowing that it is the main artery, the equivalent, the same thing that's coming out of our heart into our body. Okay, all right. So, did we already do this one? No, no. Huh?
Okay, Dewanyo get Haga, and then we'll keep Jutku. Okay. They won't there. And then Runda, it's KWE at the end there, Edith. They want the Rundakwe, okay. Kanyada Rage, and then Ungwa Tere, Ungwana, Darun, Ungwana Darun. Okay, the one you get Haga, Jutkum, they want the Rundakwe, Kanyadarage, Ungwa Tere, Ungwana Daragu.
Okay, the second line, they want, put it between the E and the T. Take out the one after it. You didn't put the one in between the E and N and the T. Take that next one out. Between the N and the T. Is that all right like that? They want their own duckway.
Yeah, they want their own duckway.
And the next one, Ganya, after the A, between the A and the T. We can take that second one out. We don't need that. Darage, Ganya, Darage. Does that look all right while you're here?
Yeah.
And when you get to this last word you said on one Daragu at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Ungwana, no, Ungwana.
Okay.
Take the N off. Ungwana, Daro. They want you get Haga, Jutkum. They want their own duckway, Kanyadarage. Ungwa Tele, Ungwana Daro.
Jotku, that's not the same as 9, right?
No, It almost sounds like it.
Okay. All right. They want your gahaga, jotgu, they want their own duckway, kanyatarage, ungwatere, unguanadaro.
Dewanyankahaga Jotko, Dewanderundakwe, Ganyatarage, Unguatere, Unguanataru.
Tewanyangahaga Jotko, Tewanterun Takwe, Ganyataraga, Unguatere, Unguanataru.
Dewanya Gehaga Jukon Dewan Deron Dakwe Ganya Darake Unguatere Unguanataro.
Dewanya Gehaga Jotko, Dewanderung Dagwe, Ganya Darage, Unguatere, Unguanadaru.
Dewan Nyang Gahaga Jotgon Dewan Deron Dagwe Ganya da Rage Ongwa Tere Ongwana Daro. Do.
Tewanyan de Haga, Tiotkon, Tewanterun Dagwe, Ganyatarage, Unguadere, Unguanadaru. Teotwet Nuni.
Okay. Our cornfields went on for days. From Ganawagi all the way to Akwesasne.
Wow.
Whoa. See, they want Styantis.
Chitewade, Chitewanos. Chitewanos Tayantos. Is that too much?
No.
Okay, Chitewanos Tayantos, and then Wohnise Ragade, and then Niwe, Giniore Aguizasne. So I'll read it again. Chitewanos Tayantos, Wohnise Ragade, Niwe, Giniore Aguizasne.
See, they want Styantos. One is Ragade. Is that Ragate or Ragate? Can you pronounce that?
Ragade.
Okay. Okay, let's change that comma stuff there. Between the A and the K. When is there Ragate?
Yeah,
Okay.
Ragade.
Ragate. Niwe Ziniore Akwesasne.
Tite Wanastayantos, Waniseragade, Niwe Diniore Akwesasne.
Si de wanastayantus, weniseragade, niwe, signore, aquesasne.
Si de wanas dayantos, weniseragade, niwe, tini iore aguasasne.
Si te umanas tayentos, veniseragade, niwe siniore aguasasne.
Devayones diantos wanisra gade niwe tini iore aquasasne. Yo.
Si de wanas tayantos, waniseragate, niwe seniore aguasasne. Te yo tuet nuni.
Yakwazasne in Kanienkeha has to be capitalized. What's the reference to Ganawagi in there?
Okay. All we have to do, okay. We just have to put Ganawage between the Wanastayantos.
So when is it agate means like sort of like from here to there, or what does that mean?
Or went on for days.
Went on for days.
Many
Okay,
days.
many days. One is there. Okay, yeah, I see day in there. One is yeah. Okay, one is there agate. Okay, our corn for days from now on get all possessed. There would be places of shelter with firewood and food stores, food stocks at different points along the way.
Agayon dage. Agayon. Agayon dage ganu sa ganu. Ganu sa sung houses. Jinue will keep the way it is. And then Gayon will keep. Okay. Yunde. Oh, Yunjian. Yujon dutos, Danu will leave, and then Adenatsara, we could leave that too. Denatsara, and then the last word, Jinio. Jinio Hahes. Okay. Agayontage, Ganusatsun'a, Jinue, Gayon, Eugentutos, Danu Adenatsara, Jinio Hahes.
Agayandage, Ganu Sasua, Zinue, Gaya, Yuje Dontos, Dano Adenatsara, Zinio Hahes.
Agayantake, Ganon Sasua, Dinue, Gayan Yonchan Totus, Dano Adenatsera, Dinio Hahes.
Agayantake, Ganosasua, Sinue, Gaya, Yonchadondos, Dono, Adanatsara, Sinio Hahes.
Agayandage Ganusa Sasuha Sinue Gaya Yon Dundos Dano Adenatsera Sinio Ahes.
Agayondage, Ganu Sasuna, Sasua, Sinue, Gaya, Yuncha, Tontos, Danu, Atanatsera, Siniu Hahes.
Ganyan Dage Ganun Sason A Chinunway Gayon Yontion Don Dios Danon Adontat Sera Chinio o Hajes.
Jinio Hahes.
Chinio Hajes.
Agayandage, Dano Sasua, Sinue, Gayan, Yon Tontos, Dano Atenatsera, Sinio Hajes. Teotuetnuni.
Okay, according to law, the men are to provide this. So the mothers can move freely throughout the territories with their children. See, there's a lot about law that is forgotten because a lot of it wasn't so much about things that were necessarily spoken of, rather than more of that it was a practice. And once it became a practice, it was something that wasn't necessarily articulated. It was something that the people do because they had determined through law that as the law evolved, that these are the things that a man must do, a woman must do, each person must do. So as a person becomes more knowledgeable of law, then they discover more of their responsibilities. So this is to say that today, now that the white man has disrupted everything, destroyed everything, that we can't see now what exists in between us and Akwesasne. All we see there is a bunch of white people. And that isn't the truth of what's on the land, because white people are destructive to the land. What was the truth of the land is all the people were conducive and lived conducively to the land. So you can't see that truth now, because where the white people are now, in between here and Akwesasne, takes up our cornfields, takes up our places where we had domiciles here and there, housing in which where the people can stay, can sleep. Because between here and Akwesasne, just to drive that by car, that's an hour and a half if you're driving 70 miles an hour. So if you're walking and working in a cornfield, it's going to take you days to walk that far. So there would be 3 or 4 houses, places of domicile along the way. Not a full, complete longhouse, but lodging. But this is what that longhouse is there in St. Anisette. That is right in between Ganawagi and Akwesasne. And that is probably the midway house in between the two of us to have where we had our lodging while we're on that path, of walking the cornfields.
Well,
But
that was
today,
Stuart, that was that longhouse they found in St. Anisette. That would be the halfway point.
but today the people just don't know about it. They don't think about it. They hear that, oh, there's a longhouse over here in St. Anisette. Did anybody ever hear of a village there? No, we never heard of a village there. But why is there a longhouse there? It's because of this. It's because of the way that when you think of, if you got a cornfield that goes on for days and you go out on Monday to work in that, well, it goes without saying that by Wednesday, you're going to be so far from your home, you're going to need a place to stay overnight. And we weren't stupid people. We didn't just let our people sleep outside in the elements. So this is what our people are no longer understanding about the land, about how we worked the land, lived upon the land, and how we gave our references to it in directions. So today, a lot is being lost. Anyways, this is something that everybody knows, but now we can address and people can start to understand why there is that longhouse that they unearthed in St. Anisette. It's a place that a farmer dug up. It was in his field, and they found traces of the longhouse there. Anyways, it's because of that. That's our cornfield, and that's a place where the people took lodging overnight or when they were on that cornfield. So this is how and where you see that today there's a lot of intermarriage between here and Akwesasne. Well, the people don't know that that halfway point between here and Akwesasne used to play a very important role in linking the two communities, in being able to be that that interface, like that. Even though we're both Kanienkeha, it does perform a service if both of us from Akwesasne and Ganawagi have a common place, in between us. That's what that place is in St. Anisette. Okay, anyways, let's
Kayanera. Kayanera Seragun. Okay. Ronungwe. Matunwa. Matunwadio. Ne. Gatnista. Or we can keep it all, Gatnista Sera.
yeah, we don't gotta break that.
Okay, now here, the next one, Gundade. Gundade Weyanio. Gundade Weyon. And then Neo, put another N there. Gundade Wenio, okay. Agundo. Yaneru. Unjun. Okay, Unjun. Unzage. Okay. Yetia. Tanhawi, Yetion. Yetio Ogoa. Okay. Kanagera Seragon, Runungue, Tuadio, Negatni Stotsara, Gudadewanio, Agudoyanero, Ujon Hozage, Yetiat Hawi, Yetio Ogoa.
Okay. Guyana Raserago, Ranungue, Antuwadio, ne Ganistansera, Gunda de Wayanio, Gontu Yanero, Onjon, Honzage,
Hozage.
Honzage, Honza. Okay, right there, between the A and the K. Honzage. Yetia Dahawi, Yetia Oguna.
Gayanera serago, ronunque, antoation, neganistansera, condade wayanio, agodunyanero, onjion hunzage, yetia tanhawe, yetia ogunha.
Gayanera serago, runungwe, atunwadion, neganistansera, gondadewayenio, agondoyanero, ojon honsage, yetia tanhawi, yetia nogunha.
Gayana Serago, Ronungue, Andowadio, Neganistansara, Gundade, Wayanio, Agundo, Yanero, Ondio, Gunsage, Yetia Dewani, Yetia Ogunha.
Guyana Serago, Ronungue, Antuatiu, Ne Ganastansera, Gundade, Wayaniu, Agundo, Yaneru, Yunchu Hunsage, Yetia Tenhawi, Yetia Oguna.
Gayana Seragon, Ronunqua, Andon Wajon neGanistan Sara, Gundade, Wayaya Neo, Agun Do Yanaron, Onjon Hunsake, Onjon Hunsake, Hunt Yat Ye Tie Don Hawe Yetian Oguna.
Okay.
Gayanera Seragon, Runungue, Antonwation, Neganistansera, Gondade Wayanio, Agundo Yanero, Ontion Honzage, Yetia Tanhawi, Yetia Hugunha. Teyotuet Nuni.
Okay. The mothers and their children are at the center of the longhouse. Everything of the longhouse is to facilitate their growth, peace, and happiness.
Okay, got any stunts? It doesn't have to be broken down, eh?
No.
You think?
No.
Okay, Danu doesn't. Yetillon. Okay, Yetillon go on, and then Sateganu. Sateganu. Sateganu Siha, and then Ganu Sesne. We won't break that down. Then Aguego, we don't have to break that. Ganu Sesne, we don't. On Wafte. On Wafte. On Wafte Jadu. Ago or not, sir. Ago. Okay, it's Ago, and there's a W missing. I didn't put it in. Agoa. Agoa. Okay, and put a at the A. Put a comma here. Agoa Natsira. And then Skano. We'll leave it. Danu, we'll leave it. Atsa. Nunya. Atsa Nunya. Okay. Gani Stansara Danu Yetio Goa. Sateganu Siha Ganu Sesne. Aguego Ganu Sesne. What the Jadu. Ago Wanatsera. Skano Danu Atsa Nunya.
Ganistansira Dano Yetia Ogun. Sade Ganu Sia.
Yeah. Siha, yeah.
Gano Sesne Aguegu. Gano Sesne Awade Jadu. Go Natsira Skana Dano Atsanunya.
Ganistansera dano yetiyan hogunha, sate ganun siha, ganun sesne, aguego ganun sesne, onwate jatu, agowanatsera skana dano atsanunya.
Ganistansera dano atian ogun sadegano siha ganosesne. Aguego ganosesne awadejado agowanatsera skana dano atsanunya.
Ganista Sera Danu Yedian Agunha Sade Ganu Siha Ganusesne Aguego Ganusesne Awate Diado Agua Natsera Skano Danu Atsanunya.
Ganistansera Danu Yetia Ogua, Sate Ganusia, Ganusesne, Aguego Ganusesne, Wati Chiatu, Agoa Natsera, Skana Danu Atsanunia.
Tera dano iete yon ogun a zadad ganun a sion gano sasne aguego gano sasne awadi tion don aguego agoa na tsera skana dano adza nunya.
Ganistansera dano yetian ogunha sa te ganon si an ganosesne aguego ganosesne onwate chiaton aguanatsera skana dano atsanunya. Te yo tuet nuni. Dano atsanunya.
What was that?
That's Joseph. I just joined.
Is Joseph, Joseph, are you doing it? Did Joseph just get here?
No,
Yeah.
He arrived in the middle, so I'm not sure he heard it.
You want to try it?
Gane stensra danon yetenen okona sate kona sihen kanon sesne agwegon ganon hense and wate tiaton agawa natsera skeren danon hasta atsa no nia.
Good.
Okay, what time are we looking at right now?
8:34.
8:34. Okay, let's do something a little extra on the side of this. So that'll be like the end of that. Let's talk about medicine now. Whenever the people are confronted with infectious diseases, that affects our breathing, go to the pine tree and scrape off some pine sap, or however Wayagir is going to say that, whatever the motion is that, you know, to scrape off or to whatever. Some pine sap. Boil it in water and drink it as hot as you can. This will free up your lungs and break the infection. As everybody knows, this is very timely information. It's about right now for everybody. Everybody should be doing this no matter where you are. There's pine trees around. Any one of you can go to a pine tree and you're going to see the sap coming out somewhere on that tree, maybe from a branch that was cut off or something. And right now at this time of year is the best time to do it because it's frozen. So, of course, use something that you're not too concerned about, you know, because it's very sticky. So go and scrape that off right now because it's frozen, easy to work with. Take a chunk, let's say maybe about 1 inch in diameter, like a ball about that size. Boil that down for, say, a pot that could hold about 6 to 8 cups. And that would be good to cover about 6 to 8 cups. Of course, depending on the severity, so maybe you'll do a bigger ball, you know, with less cups, but depending on the severity. But you do that and then drink it as hot as you can. Don't give it time to harden back up, because as you know, the pine sap is hard and it sticks together. So when you boil it, it'll break it down, it'll come apart, and this is the ideal time to absorb it into your system. But if you wait and it gets harder, well, then it'll still be good for you, but it won't be as much as an impact. So this is a medicine for everybody right now, no matter who you are, where you are, even if you had the so-called coronavirus already, or if you're getting a common cold, like which basically everybody gets, no matter what, this time of year, you should be doing that as preventive medicine. Don't wait to get sick. So right now, if you were sick already by this corona or whatever, you should be going out there and harvesting some pine sap right now for you to be utilizing that medicine. Everybody should be doing that. Pine sap, it really will break your lungs. Like if you got stuff in there, it's gonna break your lungs. And you can really feel that stuff working. We've been drinking pine sap, you know, as a precaution. And well, some of you know that this past week I was doing a lot of singing, so pine sap is good also for, you know, to soothe the throat. So not only if you're sick, but also if you have to do a lot of talking or a lot of singing. So pine sap. Anyways, there you go. You're there again.
Okay. No, ungwe, we'll keep that. Oho na June. Oho na. Oho na John hase, and we'll keep gunra or break it there, Kan. Gunra. And then gayo, we'll keep that. Dewa dun. Dewa. Okay, let's put dewa. Dewa dun yet. Okay, and then zewa. Zewarungo. Oh neta. We'll keep that one word. Oh neta. Desne. Desnegojet. All right, Danu will keep, and then Snegira will keep. Yohne. Gada. Yohne Gadariha. Okay. On what go hochi. Zewaji na. And then it's supposed to be KWA. Take the T out, KWA. KWA. So what's na gua, break it there. Gunsun. So what's na gua gunsun. Underisi. Or wait, let's see. Just leave, take all the words out except the A and the apostrophe, leave it there.
Sorry, I didn't understand the last part.
A apostrophe, the rest remove.
Okay.
SHE, apostrophe, WEN, T-A-N-E. Ashe Wandane, period. Okay. I'll read it.
Oh, wait. On that right there. One done. Put one right at the end between the A and the N. No, between the A and the N. Say one dot name.
Okay, no umbe ohona John Hasse Gunra. Gayotats. They were Gayotats, they were doing it. Zewarungo ohneta. Snegujete. Danu snegira. Yo negadariha. And what gohochi. Zewaji na quagonson. Ashe wandane.
Mona ungwe huna John Hase. Gayotats. They were doing Zewarungo on Oneta. Desne
Snegujete.
Desne Gunjet. Danos Nagirda, Yohne Gadariha, on what go Hodzi, Zewadzi Nagwa Gunsu. Zewadzi Nagwa Gunsu, Ashe Wadahne.
Ashe wandane.
Wandane.
Then you should put a one between the N and the T.
Wandane. Ashe wandane.
Nona ungwe ahuna John Hase Donra Gayotats Dewadunye Sewarungo Oneta Tesnegonche Kunja Danos Negira Yohne Gadariha Onwatko Hotzi Sewatsina Kwagunso Ashe Wandane.
Nona unwe ahona Jahase Ganra Gayodats Tewadunye Sewarungo Onehda Tesnegunjet Danos Negira Yonegadariha Anwat Gohutsi Sewatsina Wagunsu Ashewandani.
Nona ungwe anhona dientase ganra gayotats dewatuni sewarunko oneta tseni kuntiet dano snekira yone guatarine riha anwato otsi sewatsi nagwa gunso ashewandane.
Nona ungwe ahuna jahase gara gayodats dewaduni sewarungo uneta tesne kunchiet danusnekira yohne gadariha awadago andawago hotsi sewatsi nagwa gonzo asewadane.
Nuno ongwe onhun a Jan Hose Ganra Gayotats Dewa Don Nia Zewa Rong Runko Onya Hada
Oneta.
Onyata de ne Guntia Dano, Snegira, Yohne, Gadaria, Onwatko Hotzi, Zewatzi Nagwa Gunson, Ashe Wanta Ne.
Joseph,
Nonen Ongwe and Ona Tien Hase Ganra Keotats Dewa Tonye Sewa Ronko O Neta Tesne Kontia Danon Sniakra Ione Katarien and Wat Kohat Hotsi Sewatsi Nakwa Gonson Ashe Wen Dane.
Nona Ongwe Anhona Tionhase Ganha Gahotats Dewatonye Sewarunko Nesta Desnekunche Danos Negira O Yo Negadaria On Watko Hotsi Sewatsina Guagonson Ashe Wantane Teo Tuetnuni.
Do you see these puppies?
She should be Scotland.
You want to record that?
Yeah, yeah. What time is it first?
It's 8:49.
Yeah, might as well.
Okay.
I want them to get used to this.
Go
See
ahead.
when- okay. Anje, south. Nagonagwadi, east. Otorege, north. Enagonagwadi, west. Enagonagwadi, Danu Nagonagwadi, Yegerado, Kanyadarawano. The east and west are identified by the direction of the big river. Kanyadarawano, Kajinuhyatawano, Kayagons, within the Gonzawarianus, Uguayurun. The big river is the main artery coming out of the heart into the body. Okay, the Wanyangahaga, Jutgun. They want the Rundakwe, Kanyataraga, Ngwatere, Ungwanadaro. The Ganyangahaga have always lived upon the river, and it is our breadbasket. Okay, si de Wayantos, Ganawage, Monizerade, Niwe, Signore Aguazasne. Our cornfields went on for days from Gahnawaga all the way to Aguazasne. Gayonta Ganusasua, Jinue, Gayon, Ujandutos, Dana Adenatsara, Jini Hudihahes. There will be places of shelter with firewood, food, stocks at different points along the way. Gayanara Sarago Runungue, Antuadio ne Ganistansera, Gudadoyanio, Agudayanero, Ujuhunzage, Yetiatahawi, Yetio Ogunwa. According to the law, the men are to provide this to the mothers who can move freely through the territories with their children. Ganistansera dan Yetio Ogunwa. So the Ganusio Ganusesne, Aguego Ganusesne, and what the Jadum, Agoanatsela, Skona, Dana Atsanunya. The mothers and their children are in the center of the longhouse. Everything in the longhouse is to facilitate their growth, peace, and happiness. Okay, no, unque. Ohona John Seganra, Kayotas the Wadunya, Se Warungo Neta, the Snegojet, Dano Snegira, Yonekadariha, and what Kohopti, sewatsi nakwagunso, ashewondane. Whenever the people are confronted with infectious diseases that affect the breathing, go to the pine tree and scrape off some pine sap, boil it, drink it as hot as you can. It will free up the lungs and break the infection.
Okay, so everybody knows that this last part, this is for your health right now. Like we said, no matter what level of illness that you have, or even if you don't have an illness, this is to be utilized as preventive medicine. The pine sap is something that is used for many different things, but for the breathing, it's one of those things like you just can't beat how it frees up your lungs. Like anybody who's ever had a respiratory problem, and let's say you breathe in a lot of smoke or something, you know, it feels like almost like cement in your lungs, and you gotta like break it. Sometimes it's hard to break that because the mucus, if you've ever had that kind of illness, you know that the mucus sticks inside of your lungs. It kind of fuses in there, basically like hardening your lung. So this is where the pine sap does, it works wonders. It'll, instead of you having to like say, beat upon your chest and cough, the pine sap does that without the, without having to beat on your chest. So pine sap will take a more, it's a slightly longer route to clean out your lungs, but it's less violent than other ways of cleaning out your lungs. Now, I would not go to these other ways of clearing out your lungs unless you have a serious breathing problem. Like if you had, like for myself, my father didn't do that for me until I had double pneumonia. So these other ways, I won't go into that right now, but there are other ways to do a faster way of breaking out the lungs, but it's really violent. It's very painful. You wouldn't want to do it, believe me. Trust me on that one. But for something that if you don't mind, like if you want to just lay in bed for a day or two, drink that constantly. Take every couple of hours, take a boiling hot cup, and over a couple of days, you're going to see like it's just going to break up. It's gonna come out of your lungs naturally. So this is for your health. You don't have to listen to us. It's not like Wayageru or I just came up with this idea. Hey, what can we do? Oh, let's take sap off the pine tree. No, this is something that has been around forever. And it's something that has been tried and proven by our people to do precisely what is identified here. So take it or leave it, but everybody right now should be doing that. If you don't want to get something that you're going to end up having to go to the hospital for and get diagnosed with corona and maybe get, what did he call that, lockdown, then take your preventive medicine right now. Go out to the pine tree. Put your tobacco at the base of the pine tree. The pine tree that you're going to put the tobacco at, maybe it's you look for a sickly pine tree, one that needs a little bit of help. You put your tobacco there at the base of the tree, and then you go to the other pine tree. You don't take from that pine tree that you offer. You go to the next pine tree, like I said, scrape it off of there. And when you're doing this, you got to talk. You got to talk to your medicine. You got to explain why you're doing this. Just imagine if somebody was coming to you and taking parts of you to help them. What if they didn't say anything to you, right? You'd say, hey, what the hell are you doing? And, you know, you'd be a negative. They'd be a negative towards you. But if you're explaining, this is why I'm doing this, then it's more, it's better that way. So you do that, speak to your medicine while you're doing it. If it's for your kids, then you identify your children. You identify their names. and you speak to the medicine, ask the medicine to heal your child if your child is sick already. But if you're just giving it as preventive, then it's the same thing as what you're asking for of yourself. So this is something now that anybody can do to protect your own health in this atmosphere of crazy ways of looking at these common colds, common seasonal illnesses that have been with humans since the beginning of time. All of a sudden, we're looking at these things, or we're addressing these things like as if it's life and death, like as if it's the beginning and end of everything. Like everything on earth depends on this all of a sudden. It's not like, oh, you got a common cold? Okay, stay home, you'll be better in a few days. Nowadays, it's, oh no, you got a common cold? Well, here's a free test. Take this test, and oh well, you're guaranteed you take that free test, you're gonna have something. You're gonna end up having to go to the hospital. This is the reason why they're putting out free tests to make it so that everybody in the world is looked at as having some kind of illness, where it's really regular breathing cycles that isn't just equated just to us humans. Our breathing cycles goes from everything within the environment. But right now, also, you're going to be breathing in ash. And this has been going on for quite some time. Volcanoes have been affecting us in the Northern Hemisphere.
Frozen. You were frozen, Longhouse?
Okay, so anyways, just to say to everybody, we shared with you what our parents shared with us. Now, these medicines, I don't know about what you're and the illnesses he had in his life, but medicines like this has saved my life. It improves your life. If you already have respiratory illnesses and you do get sick, this really reduces your level of pain. Now, anybody who has respiratory illnesses, you know that as you get sicker, pain increases. So there, you have what our parents shared with us, we have shared with you now. Okay, so
Stuart, Joseph raised his hand.
Okay, go ahead, Joseph.
I just wanted to clarify, is it pretty any pine tree you can use, like any evergreen, or is it a specific?
No, almost any one. They all have that. It looks like a cyst on there.
Right, I've seen it, like it's oozing out, right? The amber, the sap, yeah.
Put it in a jar. Put it in a jar. Always put it in a jar, medicine, or a bag. Usually you put it like that. It's sticky, so put it in a jar.
Now, you got to make sure that you can tell the difference between a pine tree and a spruce tree. Now, you can use spruce also, but I wouldn't recommend spruce for this application. Spruce is a more, it's like a more thicker, gummier, harder to diffuse. So the pine, like you said, any pine, but if you can, white pine, that would be ideal.
Yeah,
but
you can get white pine, but smell it. If it smells like Vicks, everybody knows what Vicks smells like. If it smells like that, you got the right thing. Yeah,
and even if you don't, say like for right now, if you don't use this medicine right now, still go and get some. This is the best time of year to harvest that, because like we said, it's cold and it's just easier, because in the summertime, you don't really want to be harvesting that stuff. It's going to stick all over you, and it's just better this time of year. But just get it and keep it. You can also use pine sap just as for a candle even. You can light that pine sap, and it is just like the kapal that the Mayans use same thing. So you look at how the Mayans use their kapal, we utilize it in the same way. So there's many different uses for the pine sap. This one medicine is just one thing. But like I said, another thing, if you are, let's say your electricity goes out, you wouldn't want to really use this in your house, like to light a candle, because there's a lot of soot, you know, it'll blacken your ceiling. But if you're outside and let's say it's windy or something and you need a candle or a torch, you know, like get a big bunch of pine sap, put it on the end of a stick, and you got a torch right there. So just things to think about. Okay, for the closing, anybody want to do the closing? Okay. No, okay. All right. Mary Claude says that she'll do it.
It's okay, I'm not on camera. Okay. Marie-Claude Yejitz, great-granddaughter of Marie-Louise, granddaughter of Yvette, daughter of Francine, temporary Bear Clan representative of the Life Givers Nation. Detinu Wadadu, Yagungwe Garin Yagesu. We want to give our thanks to Sky Woman for giving us our spirit. Nyawagoa Yonkisota Santanika Garakwa. We thank our grandmother Moon to be the beating heart of our Mother Earth. We thank her for taking care of our water, to regenerate the waters, and to be in constant connection with all life on Earth. We acknowledge her guidance, her love. Nyawagoa Yonkinistan Yunzage. We give thanks to our Mother Earth for giving us our bodies and everything we need in this world. Nyawagoa Yonkinistan Ogunha. We thank all the mothers of this world that gave birth to the nations of the world. We acknowledge their love and direction. Nyawagoa Tikundi Nagerat Gawas. We acknowledge all the life givers and all the streams of life they come in. We acknowledge the richness that they bring to life and how beautiful our experience is because of those mothers. We want to thank Onegasu, all the waters and all the shapes and forms they come in. We give thanks to Ganyat Tarageru, the rivers. We want to thank Yats Taratenu, the rain. Oyerunda, all the lakes. So all the waters and all the shapes and forms they come in. They carry life and all the memories of creation and life. Nyawagoa Onunkwasu, all the medicine on Wata, the maple, Oneta, pine, Onontaguantansera, Garonda, the cedar. We want to acknowledge Kanienkeha, the strawberry, Kanaguatararo, the raspberries, Garhatageha, the blueberries as well. So we thank all the medicine that in all the shapes and forms they come in. We thank the beautiful medicine of the Ganyanara Seraskana Goa. We acknowledge everyone that sacrificed their lives to keep the Ganyanara Seraskana Goa alive. We acknowledge the original people of Turtle Island that maintain their identity. Nyawagoa de Genideo Hade. We acknowledge and give our thanks to the Turo Wampum that allows for the non-native to be in a respectful dialogue with the native of this territory. Nyawagoa to our ancestors who carry the good mind. We acknowledge them, we thank them for their guidance and their help at all times. Thank you for your support and for being with us and for creating us. We thank the counseling process of the Great Law of Peace. We acknowledge the true spirit of the clans. Raninyato, Ronataruni, Rotiskerewage, and we are working towards reestablishing those sacred councils to give the voice back to the people. We give our thanks to Ganon Sesne, the Longhouse, Yuderiwati Jata, the sacred ceremonial garden. We give thanks to Agwex and all the messengers, the birds, our sisters and brothers, the animals, for their medicine and their everything that they offer us. We thank all creation and good spirit. We thank Yoyang Kwatquenyes, the sacred tobacco. And yes, we give thanks to all creation in good spirit. We acknowledge that we just finished a 26,000 years cycle, and we want to acknowledge everything good that came with that cycle to move forward into the new cycle and affect peace and order back into our mother earth. And we have nothing to do with that, and we push it on the 3 levels of existence. Erisawit, 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 To.
All right. Don G,
Wow.
everybody. Son Dios.
That's on Dios.
Dios, some of you see you
Take
tomorrow.
care of yourself. Love you all.